Welcome to Muffin Talk.
Kia ora and welcome to Muffin Talk. This program is brought to you by the initiative Titipounamu, Study and Joy. My guest today is Father Douglas Al-Bazi. Father Douglas is originally from Baghdad, Iraq, where he was the vicar of St. Elias Catholic Church and the adjacent St. Elia Catholic School. After he escaped from Baghdad and moved to New Zealand, he became parish priest at St. Adai Chaldean Catholic Church in Papatoetoe, and from where he's continuing today his political activism and his service to the Christians, the Chaldeans, and he's fighting for the Christians in the Middle East. Father Douglas, welcome to Muffin Talk.
Kia ora and Shlama, which means peace be with you. And thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. As I mentioned, you are the priest serving the Chaldean Catholic Church, the Chaldeans. Who are the Chaldeans? Maybe you can explain it a little bit, because that's not a country, Chaldea or so.
Yeah, Chaldea, we are belong to from Middle East, which it's a group of people south of Iraq. And properly, we hear that from the Bible when they talk about Abraham. Abraham was from Ur, the Chaldean. So we are from that region from Iraq, and Chaldean, it's go back 3,000 years of civilization. Of course, we are belong to the civilization from Iraq more than 5,000 years, like Sumerian, Akkadian. So Chaldean, another group, which is the capital of Chaldean was the Babylon, and Babylon, the famous one in the Holy Bible and even in the history as well. And Chaldean, we became Christian from the 1st century when St. Thomas crossed the northern of Iraq, met with the two disciples. One of them is St. Adai, which is the parish, the church here called St. Adai, one of the disciples, 72 disciples for Christ. And we started Christianity from the 1st century, but we called the church, our church, the Eastern Church, which is in Aramaic called Eted Medencha. And we became Catholic around the 15th century when our church union with the Roman church, and since that time we are Chaldean Catholic Church, but we are using a different, of course, different calendar, different language, which is Aramaic, and we have our own history, our own liturgy as well. That is Chaldean.
So you mentioned Ur, so you are from the area where Abraham came from. Is that
yes?
Right?
Yes.
And you speak the language that Jesus spoke.
Sometimes actually we just a little bit far with that. We always said, oh, even Jesus was Iraqi from Iraq, because Abraham was from Iraq. And I know this is this is what I just said for funny, but actually this is not an academic answer. But in any case, Jesus was, yes, using two languages, which is one Aramaic and Hebrew. So Jesus, he was born with two Aramaic because he has to talk, everyone in Jewish in that region talking two languages such as the Aramaic and the Hebrew as well.
And you celebrate in Aramaic?
In our church, we are still, this language is still living language, still using in celebration, still talking in the daily needs and Aramaic communication with our community, of course, yes.
So you'll be a wonderful source if we are looking for the meaning of a certain word.
You are most than welcome.
Thank you so much. And there's a celebration that many people connect with the Chaldeans, but actually it's a feast day for the Christians, for Christians in general. And that is the feast day of the Exaltation of the Cross. And it's celebrated on the 14th of September. And can you tell us a little bit more about the feast day?
That celebration, yeah, it's very important to all the Eastern churches, even with the Western Church, but the Eastern Church, because that what happened in Middle East, in Holy Land. And in that area, in that region, of course, the promises to the one of the to the king, to the royal, to the empire, Constantine, when he was looking for a sign, and he thought that the sign of the cross, of course, and we know academic properly, he's on the guy became a Christian, but we know that his mother, yes, she was very Christian. She went to the Holy Land, digging to find where they put the three crosses, and we know from the history, and also from the record, one of the saint, one of the patriarch. Patriarchs mean the archbishop, or that's mean the head of one of the churches in Eastern Church. We call the patriarch, and so we know that from the history when they went there and they found the three crosses, and by sudden they were a funeral of one of the people there, and they want to be sure which one is actually the cross, because we know that from the Bible there were three bodies, three people, Jesus and two thieves, two bad peoples. In any case, so when they lay the body of the first one, second, and the third, and that time the miracle, he turned alive again. So they say this is the cross. So that time there were, of course, no internet, no Wi-Fi, no text message. So till actually in Iraq, in my country, even maybe 100 years ago. So the sign that time when they put a fire, so from the smoke, people they can know from a distance. In Iraq, we know about that because we are not in Western countries, which is using the church bells. So in the Western country, we use the church bells, so they understand. But when you live in Middle East, is Muslim region, so there are no actually bells.
You have no sound, but do you have a visual signal?
Yes, but if just we understand for a long, long period, they were not allowed to have churches. For example, in Iraq, for many, many centuries, they were not allowed to have even a tower for the bell. Okay, so that time the sign from place to place was, and one of the sign is what the smoke. Of course, till now in Roman Catholic Church, they use the white smoke and black smoke when they say Abiamus Papo, and that's really great news, In any case, so that time they start sending the message by the smoke that we found the relics, that we found the wood, the cross, until now so we celebrating the same way. So always when we have the feast, so the day before, during the night, we gathering together and we put the bonfire and celebrating with the food, with dancing. So some places, I wish here in New Zealand, sometime we do in different way. Like last year, it was like exhibition from, we call the exhibition materials. I just translate from Arabic. I know it's not easy. In any case, so they say from my house, which means what I brought from my house from Iraq. So people, they brought a lot of stuff. There were like photos, black, white, some, I don't know, radios, some stuff. So there's always activities, sometimes sports, sometimes dancing, whatever, food. Food, always there's a food with the Iraqi community. And so this fest to us, it's really fest of all the families, of all the family members. So everyone joyful, dancing, and we have special mass with that, special prayer. So we love this fest very well.
So it seems like it's more than one day. You have at least the evening before. So how long are the celebrations?
So the day before, because I will say again, here in New Zealand, because I have different community and I can't actually use another church because this is another church does not belong to us. When I do in my community here, so where we have the mass, and after that go with the procession with the cross, with the incense and the choir singing all the way, go to the fire, and after that light the fire, where we have our cheering, which is a little bit scary to the Western people, because we, when cheering the things, use like that sound, la 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 la.
Yeah.
And with some people, they just scare when they hear that, but this is our way. And
That's quite a. I've heard it when I was in the Middle East,
yeah,
when it was a joyful thing. So I heard it mainly from women.
yeah.
But if you do that, it's really loud. So
Yes, yes, of course. No, and sometimes a competition between
oh
women's when
really?
they do that. Yeah, of course. Like when they want like something joy, they say, "Oh, let's call that women too," because like everyone should hear about that joyful for everyone. In any case, so after that, the bonfire, some people just because for safety, but for example, back home in Iraq or in Middle East when they put the fire, some people they jump off the fire because they thought if I jump over the fire, God will give me my wish or answer my prayer, something like that. For safety reason, don't do that, please. Some places they put fireplace, and usually as a church we say no, don't make it more like make the occasion more spiritual way, not actually more civic or more I don't know modern. We are not really match like the modern way with the things. We have to celebrate like really spiritually way.
That's interesting what you said with the fire, because at home in Germany there is the St. John's fire. So on St. John the Baptist feast day, that's when we have a fire, and then some people also try to jump over the fire. But it's said that it's from pre-Christian times, old tradition. But I think that humans are attracted to fire because fire is, as much as it's destruction, it's also life. And so fire is really special.
Actually, another thing I think when we have occasions such as the fest, like happen once a year, when we have a special occasion, usually more stuck in our memory than other thing, because we are not often doing that.
Mhm.
Such as the fire, because we do two times, one in Christmas, one in the feast of the cross. So as they say, the study, when we have just like not often, so those memories stuck in our memory. But for example, when we go to the church every Sunday, so even if you change it a little bit this Sunday, not like the Sunday before, not really people they will remember that. But when they where is the occasion or event for one time, so people is stuck with those memories forever. As you mentioned with Saint John the Baptist, and because that one the first come from the different
Pagans.
story, yeah, and comes after to the Christianity. I know that.
Yeah. And so that's really interesting. And so how do the Chaldeans celebrate it this way, but when they are in a community with which is really mixed in New Zealand, what is the experience like if you have only a few families, Chaldean families, do they have a compromise, or do they tell others in their parish, look, that's what we do at home. Why don't we introduce it here in this church? Have you heard anything like that?
In general, actually, our people, the only thing maybe here in New Zealand, it's a little bit different because the close community to the Chaldean here, it's in Sydney and in Melbourne. And in Sydney and Melbourne, we are talking about maybe in Sydney 40,000 people, and in Melbourne maybe more than 30,000. So they're actually a celebration. So some people they say, "I wish I am there," or "I wish in Iraq during those days," because I know because we are not only in, for example, now in northern of Iraq, they decide four churches together, like the Orthodox, Syrian Orthodox, Syria Catholic, and the Church, the Chaldean, and the Church of Assyrian. It's a different church. So two of them, they are not Catholic, two they are Catholic. So four churches, they decide to have same activities in the same time. So if you look to that event, actually, so the cross actually is crossing the let's say the churches. It's crossing the behavior of the people. It's a crossing. So when the people when they come to the face of the cross, to be honest, no one care about if I am Catholic or Orthodox or. So another thing, people they love it because it is uh
It's
it's
joyful.
happened. Yes, it's really joyful. And here in something special here in New Zealand with Chaldean families, I asked Bishop once last year when he came, I asked all people, please, each family bring their own cross, the lovely cross they like it. Doesn't matter which kind of the cross design, because each church has different design. In any case, when the bishop came, he said, "Yeah, let's." I asked, please, Excellency, bless the crosses, and he said, "Yeah, what is the?" Why we have like a big table there and too many crosses. I say, we are going to each family of us put the cross next door, like a main door, when you get into the house. So all the family, all the visitor, when you visit the home, you have to say hello to the owner, to the master, to the lord of the house, touch the cross and get into the house. And when you go out, do the same thing for the blessing. So the bishop, actually, our archbishop, the Chaldean archbishop, he say, really nice. I wish that everyone do the same thing, because when you go to any Christian family, we have to know that we are entered to the small church before to be a family house. So this is the idea was so hopefully again here maybe in New Zealand we are not much many like another communities in Sydney and Melbourne, but we are trying our best to keep our joyful much we can from generation to another one.
Well, maybe you planted a seed and it will spread around the world. And then in about 200 years, they will think, where does this tradition come from?
Probably they're going to mention this interview.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you so much, Father Douglas. It's been a joy and a pleasure to have you here on Muffin Talk. And thank you for explaining a little bit more about the culture around the exaltation of the cross. And it's a really joyful celebration. So it's not like Good Friday where you think of the cross, but you're mourning. So this is the joyful celebration about the cross.
Thank you so much for you again. And thanks for having me. God bless you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Out there, heroic peace is calling. In the bonds of love we meet. For the world a new day dawning, and shines a light to greet. We're singing, this is the day when the hope was calling. This is the day when the light did shine. This is the day